Willkommen zurück bei The Zodiac Trial. Im letzten Part haben wir das Butcher-Rennen, den Butcher-Kampf, die Butcher-Part angefangen und es gab die ersten Tode. Und zwar inoffiziell sind bereits Dog und Horse tot, offiziell nur Horse, aber wir wissen, dass Dog auch tot ist. Und das Messer wurde nicht gefunden, aber wir wissen, wo es ist. Das heißt, jetzt das Ergebnis des Rennens ist sehr spannend für uns. Wer wird nach vorne laufen, wenn nicht? Ah, warte.
We're scattered around the cafeteria. However, the moment the television turned on, the entire focus of the room shifted. All eyes were glued onto the TV screen. How could they not be? This could show if Dog was alive, if he was the one with the butcher's knife, if someone else had the butcher's knife, and more.
At this point, I didn't even know what I was hoping for.
Round 4 has ended. Now let us see how the race has progressed. The rat has won 1 space. The ox has won 1 space. The tiger has won 1 space. The bunny has won 1 space.
Das gleiche,
The dragon has won 1 space. The snake has won 1 space.
So, Horse müsste jetzt 4 laufen. Oh nee.
The horse has failed to make a move. Macht Sinn. The sheep has won 1 space. The monkey has won 1 space. The rooster has won 1 space. The dog has won 1 space. Und pig has won 1 space. Now, round 5 has begun. Do your best and choose wisely.
It took a moment to process what that meant. So I guess Dog's alive then.
We do not know that for sure. Once someone is dead, others can operate the tablet without cause for concern. If he was killed, the killer could have disguised that death with this at least for a turn.
Interesting how that's where your mind first jumps. And not the idea that he might have just put his move before he got killed.
That would break from the pattern we have previously established, would it not? Earlier, we had decided it's best to input moves at the end of the round in case something came up. Although, since we are simply too set in our strategy of running until we have the needed trinkets, the need for such a routine becomes increasingly unclear.
Always gotta have the last words, huh?
I was simply answering your question.
Guys?
She piped up from the back of the room.
Pig's still missing.
No, this is getting ridiculous.
You don't think something happened to her, do you?
What? No way.
Actually, we can't dismiss such possibilities so quickly anymore. Things have come tense and dangerous. Before further discussions, we should look around the nearby rooms and try to find her.
Alright. She couldn't have gone too far.
Once again, the group spread out. It was starting to feel like every time this happened, one fewer person returned. Still, Auge was right. Pig's disappearance was a cause of concern for all of us. I went down the right hallway to see if she had entered the room in this direction. I didn't see her coming down this way, but I could have just missed her. It wasn't long, however, before I heard a scream. I ran back into the cafeteria and I saw Tiger and Bunny looking horrified at the sight of one of the pillars. What were they looking at? I ran around and quickly realized that what was leaning against the other side of the pillar. Pig's bloody body. I didn't physically black out, but I immediately needed to sit down. Horse's body was one thing, but I was able to get through that thanks to the adrenaline. But Pig's body marked that the horse was no fluke accident. There was a killer among us.
Dun dun.
A killer who wouldn't stop until each and every one of us was dead. And that was a little much for me to deal with at the moment. While I recuperated, ox, tiger, bunny, snake, sheep, and a rooster all gathered around the body. They all donned the expression of shock and horror. Who could say if they were all genuine?
Disastrous, monstrous, soul-crushing. We all are both actors and audience of life's greatest tragedy. Sleep peacefully, dear pig. For now the rose of the world were you not.
Hey, could you not mock this woman's death with your bullshit soliloquies? Are you even actually sad?
Of course my heart aches. I would not mourn the death of any potential fan. I feel like we've bonded then, even if she wouldn't admit it. I'd gladly give up my time to speak at her funeral, when all is said and done. I don't know why I bother.
Why is this happening? Why would someone kill her? It's not much of a mystery. Clearly, one of her personalities is determined. This person found the butcher's knife and found an out. They killed horse, they killed pig, and they might have killed dog. But why? They did use a knife on horse, so what's the point? Not yet. But remember, the rules didn't specify that the person must have been killed with a knife, just that the corpse must be slashed by it. Our sailor is waiting until there are enough targets, at which point they should run about the place claiming the spaces as a reward. No way! But when was she killed? Before or after the round change? She was killed right in this cafeteria, but we were all walking around here. How terrifying.
Bunny, you were the one who found her when you were walking back to the cafeteria, right?
Yeah.
Is it possible you didn't see her when you walked this way?
It's totally possible she was already there when we went out to look for her. The pillar blocked my view and I couldn't just ignore her and move forward. Could have just ignored her and moved forwards.
But after I put my move for last round, I walked back down that hallway and I didn't see her then. So she was killed sometime after we first returned from putting her moves, but before just now.
That's a lot of time.
You know what? Forget this. If we just start journaling on this, none of us are going to escape in time. Based on my last count, we shall have 6 minor trinkets among us. Horse and pig are dead, and Tiger has already accepted her fate. It's possible Dog's already dead, so we might need as little as 8 minor trinkets before we have enough for everybody. The moment that happens, we can all stay as a single group together, with each person making the same choice every time and people making their moves one at a time. There'd be no chance for the killer to make a move, especially with Tiger guarding those weapons. It might feel like we're turning a blind eye to what's happening, but I honestly think we should still focus on finding minor trinkets.
That makes sense. By the way, are we missing some people?
Oh, Monkey went looking for Pig on the 3rd floor. She said she thought Pig might have decided to just flee from the group. Have no fear, I shall inform her of the proceedings.
Who's still left to go to talk to Monkey?
Well, for the rest of you, stay alert. There's likely a killer among us. Don't let them get you.
Auge was just saying to ignore Pig's murder. I got his point, we need to find trinkets, but actually I want to investigate Pig's death.
What?
I don't like the idea of just ignoring the killer and putting all our eggs in the trinket finding basket. The killer might pull something again, and if they do, it'd be best if we could identify them.
Surprisingly, I had an advocate.
I agree. Someone just killed horse, killed pig. It's not right. I don't want to just ignore that.
This seems like a waste of time. But I'd be more wasteful to argue it. Sheep, mouse. You can be on investigating duty if you want. Tiger, keep guarding those weapons. And the rest of us will look for trinkets. Does that sound fairer to you?
Yes, it does.
Great. With that, the rest of the group started to split up.
This just left Sheep and myself standing by the body. Well, I guess that's that. Are you going to start investigating now? I don't really know how to do, but yeah, I guess I will. Do you mind if I join you? Join in? I feel like I haven't done anything helpful so far, and I want to know who killed Horse. I at least owe him that much. Hey, happens why you're here with me. Why wouldn't I want the extra hand? I just don't know how useful I'm going to be. Don't worry, it's not that you have to be useful to be useful. What? Well, for once, it's always good to have a witness around in case someone tries to off the detective. And like a form of protection. Oh, well, that's nice. But you know, I could try and also solve things too. Sure, you can also try. You know I'm older than you, right? Right. Okay, please start your investigation. Great. Now, let's begin by examining the body. It wasn't going to be pretty,
but I needed to steel my nerves. I walked over to Pig's body and started looking at it. Looking closer, I could see that she was stabbed in the heart with a knife. So, this one was killed by a knife, huh? Do you think it was a butcher's knife? It would certainly appear that way. If that's the case, we could just wait to the end of the round again and we get our answer then. But that seems a little too easy. I don't like the idea of putting things off with the assurance that things will be solved if we do nothing and wait for a bit longer.
You're right. The killer might kill again while we wait for that.
Gosh, this is a really gross sight. The blood's all over me. All over her.
Hey, isn't that a big clue?
Hmm?
If Pig was killed with a knife, the killer must have gotten blood on their hands, right? But I didn't see anyone with blood on their hands. So either we haven't seen the killer after they've killed, or the killer had a chance to use the restroom.
Hey, that's some great thinking, Sheep. There are only 3 restrooms on this floor. We should figure out who would have had a chance to go to any of them and when.
How would we do that?
After we're done here, we should ask other people about their movements, both when they went to input their moves and when they split up to look for Pig.
Got it. That makes sense.
But there's a lot of blood on Pig. So why hasn't a drop gotten on the floor surrounding her?
So she was definitely killed by a knife?
Was she? Against my best judgment, I examined Pig's body closer. To my surprise, this investigation actually turned up something useful. Her neck's been bruised. Hey, doesn't this mean she was strangled?
Really?
Yeah, these are definitely someone's hands.
Wow, so she was actually strangled, huh?
Probably. If she was already dead, it'd probably be easier for the killer to not spill as much blood on themselves. Though with what we can see from the splatter on her shirt, it's still impossible for none of it to have gotten on the killer.
Isn't it pretty difficult to strangle someone to death? I know I couldn't do something like that.
Me neither.
But if you were going to, Pig was probably an easy target. I think probably anyone but us two, Monkey and Snake, could have choked her to death. Probably.
I think it's all we're going to get from the scene. But let's look around the cafeteria some more just in case. I tried to look around the cafeteria to see if I could see anything else. There were various chairs and tables. Tiger was guarding the weapons pile in the corner. There was this television where the race was displayed, obviously. And on the opposite side of the room, there was a kitchen area. The kitchen was super close to the pillar where Pig showed up, a mere couple of steps away. Yeah, okay. Intrigued, I tried looking around the place. It was pretty barren, mostly housing things like bags of ice and stacks of plastic bags. Still, it did have a good selection of silverware, including knives. Okay, time to start talking with Tiger.
Did you find all the clues?
Yeah.
But how can you know that? It's a devil's proof.
A devil's proof? What's that?
It just means that you were trying to prove a negative, which is pretty much impossible.
Not with that attitude.
That doesn't... Okay. Let's go talk with Tiger.
Oh, baby. Sie will nur helfen. And so we walked over to Tiger. Hopeful she could provide some good info on everyone's movements. Hey, Mouse. I saw you two investigating over there. How are things going on that front? They're coming along.
Great. Coming along is the first step on getting to your destination.
That's true, probably.
Tiger, would you mind if we ask you some questions?
Hit me.
Where did you go when you input your move?
Oh, that. I want to stay as close to the weapons as possible, since I was on guard duty and all, so I entered this restroom over here. It's the closest separate room to the cafeteria. That makes sense, I guess. Although we probably could have just had you input your move at a separate time to everyone else and avoid even having to leave the weapons. Ah, you're right. Man, we're kind of dumb, aren't we? It's a stressful situation and everyone's kind of just panicking. I've got a feeling a lot of us have been going about this pretty poorly. You don't need a clear head to make good decisions. Trust me, if you get too heated, you can really mess things up.
So no one else went into that restroom.
No, I don't think so.
What about when we looked for Pig's body? Where did you go then?
Oh, I didn't leave. I take my guard duty seriously, you know. I stayed by the weapon pile.
Wait, you were here the whole time?
Yep.
Could you tell us where everyone went, then?
My memory's not that great. Plus, I wasn't paying it that much attention. I was focused on guarding, you know. That's annoying. Sorry.
But you would have seen if someone killed Pig when you were around.
Oh, totally. I wasn't blind or anything. I'm just not a genius.
Ich mag den Spruch, der ist toll.
If there was anything blindly suspicious, I definitely would have seen it.
Huh. Okay, I think that's it for now. It is? Isn't it?
Yeah, we'll talk to you later, Tiger. Alright, keep up the great work.
Aw, danke, Tiger.
At Sheep's clear request, we walked away from Tiger. When we were far away enough, I started questioning her.
You noticed something? Mouse, what Tiger just said doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't?
If she's telling the truth, Pig wasn't killed when we left to look for her. However, if Russo was telling the truth, Pig wasn't killed when he came back. But if both of those things are right, that means Pig was killed right when we were all there. We were in the same room as the crime.
I doubt that.
I'm pretty sure we would have noticed if murder was happening in the corner of the room we were in. Even a really silent murder would have made some noise. But you're right. At the very least, we were all accounted for. Almost all of us.
What do you mean? Dog.
We still don't know where Dog is, right?
Ich meine, sie vielleicht, als wir das Fernsehen geguckt haben, weil wir konzentriert drauf waren?
So? Don't you think that might mean something?
Not really, no. At least not regarding this incident.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Just as we were having the conversation, I saw Snake walking down the hallway.
Yo, Snake, hold up a minute.
He was another good person to interrogate. Do you mind if I ask you some questions?
For your little investigation, yes. I doubt I will provide much overviews, but fine, ask away.
That's exactly how a guilty person responds, you know.
Oh, what a fascinating observation. Surely you can make that claim as someone who's interviewed countless innocent and guilty subjects alike, no? Your assumptions doesn't come from watching a dozen low-rate crime dramas, does it?
Look, are you going to cooperate or not?
I already said I would. You're the one who's asked yet to ask me anything.
Alright, then why don't you tell me which room you went in to input your action for the 4th round?
I went down the upper right hallway and entered the closest room, that is, the men's locker room. I then went back down the hallway, and I didn't see Pig's body. I suspect you might doubt that claim, no?
Of course I do. The men's locker room, there's a restroom in there, isn't there?
Oh, you're also trying to see who visited restrooms, are you? Then yes, there was a restroom there. I also feel it prudent to inform you that I saw Dragon input her action in the woman's locker room down the hall. Also, if you're collecting locations, I believe Monkey was in one of the classrooms between us.
Providing an awful lot of information there.
I just wish to be throughout.
So, for the sake of thoroughness, where did you look for Pig?
I believe I checked some of the rooms down the right hallway. Nothing turned up. Unpleased with my response?
There's not a lot to be happy about with it.
Did you think I was going to say I was murdering Pig?
It would have been great if you did.
I fear for this investigation.
Hey, mind your own business.
I would very much think the potential apprehension of a killer is my business. If I may, here's a thought that might help out some.
Didn't ask, but okay.
No matter who the killer is, it is an undeniable fact that killing Pig in that way would be a large risk for them. There's just no way to do that in a way that doesn't require some small leap of faith. Therefore, we should consider why the killer felt the need to take a risk in the first place.
They need to kill us all so they can stay alive, duh.
But they didn't need to kill someone in such a heavily crowded area when the group was splitting up.
So what are you saying?
Exactly what I said. I shall continue to look for my trinkets. They are our lifeline after all. If you want to keep interrogating people, I noticed that Ox and Bunny are working as a pair on the other side of this floor.
Got it. Thanks for the help.
A pleasure.
Snake walked away, continuing his search. I am not a fan of this guy.
We got some information from him, though.
Nothing useful, I'm afraid.
You think?
Did you hear anything useful?
I guess not.
Wow! Well, if I didn't hear anything useful and you didn't hear anything useful, I'm just gonna go out on a limb and say it wasn't useful. Now come on, let's go find Auge and Bunny.
Die beiden passen gut zusammen. Keiner hat irgendein Rückgrat.
We moved to the other end of the school and eventually found Auge and Bunny looking around an art studio. Auge, Bunny, I'd like to ask you a few questions about your movements.
Interviewing witnesses, huh? Classic investigation move. Good work.
I hope your search has been fruitful, seeing as you've prioritized it over finding trinkets.
Oh, come off it, Auge. I was bad at finding trinkets anyways. Besides, if you really cared about figuring out who murdered Pig, the cop and the prosecutor would be doing the investigation, not us.
Agreed, because I don't really care about that. I care about finding the minor trinkets.
You seem to be really uninterested in this mystery.
Almost as if you prefer we don't find out who the killer is. Mouse, are you honestly calling me a suspect? We're all suspect, Auge. I find it funny how you're so opposed to being called one. Of course I don't want to be a suspect. Who would? You're just going to ask me about my movements during the suspected time of the crime, right? Fine then. When we first split up to input our actions, I went down the left hall. Whatever he was about to say got cut off with the deafening sound of a loud bang. That was a gunshot, if I had ever heard one.
Oh god, please don't let anyone else turn up dead.
Ah! A gunshot.
From where?
I think it came from the third floor, maybe?
Quickly. We need to see where that came from. Mouse, wait up.
My monkey!
I didn't. I rushed forward, determined to locate the source of the sound as soon as possible. I had to imagine someone was the recipient of the gun in that case. Depending on where the gun was aimed, the time to find the victim might be different between life and death.
Up the stairs, up the stairs, up the stairs!
I started rushing through the third hallways, trying to look for any suspicious looking spots. Eventually, I ran across Monkey. Monkey, do you know anything about that gunshot? Maybe where it was fired? No, I'm just as surprised as you. I think it came from downstairs, though. Downstairs? Yes, second or first floor. Second then. Quickly, let's look. I shall hurry.
Oh, zweiter Floor.
Monkey sprinted ahead of me, surprisingly quick, in search of the elusive gunshot. I made my way down the other staircase onto the second floor. I started spreading out, trying to find any signs of trouble. Instead, I heard Monkey shouting out for me, calling me over to the crime scene. Because of course it was a crime scene. What else could a sound like that lead to?
Oh, es wird spannend, aber erst im nächsten Part finden wir raus, wer tot ist oder auch nicht, oder wer geschossen hat, mit was und warum und wieso, was passiert denn nur? Und ich muss sagen, die Untersuchungen laufen sehr seltsam. Sheep und Maus sind kein gutes Team. Ich fand's echt spannend. Echt nicht? Fandst du spannend?
Nein.
Okay, dann nicht. Hä, was ist das für eine Untersuchung? Was? Zeig doch mal Rückgrat hier. Ah, schrecklich. Naja. Vielleicht bringt's ja doch was, wir werden sehen. Ich danke fürs Zugucken und bis zum nächsten Mal bei The Zodiac Trial. Tschüss!